Hey there, welcome back everybody. And man, we have a really, really big match for you today. So despite the fact that Yanbian FC have scored, I believe it's 146 goals in like 26 games in the league, despite the fact that we're blowing teams out left and right, we had a number of transfers to do, and it's now January 2nd, 2023, and as you can see here, we have a completely new team. We've got a number of new players in the team. The big one to introduce to you is probably Liu Xiaoziyang, who we got from Bayern Munich, who unfortunately is on the bench because he's fatigued for this Chinese FA Cup game. We have a couple of these guys. Yunus Delphi, the Iranian, is going to be our new striker up front. We got this guy, Diko Eng, on the left side, and Jabara, the Swede, on the right. This guy, George Hall, is British, comes over from Birmingham, I believe it was, here in the defensive midfield. And Rafael comes in here on the right side. He's probably not quite good enough for this level yet, but we have nobody else to play in that position. I guess we could put Wang Tong in there, who's another new signing. Unfortunately, our normal right backs are all injured. And Chen Wei gets the start here at goal, another new signing. So we have 6 new signings in this squad here, starting things off. Now, rather than going into deep detail as I auto-number these guys and get them on their way, rather than going into deep detail in this video, we're going to focus here on the match. I have more information about these new players on the blog. But we want to get to this match as quickly as possible today because this is the big one. This is the 4th round of the Chinese FA Cup, and we are back in Nanjing to take on Jiangsu FC. And Jiangsu FC and us there's no love lost between us. At the very beginning of the season, I think I bought 3 or 4 major players from Jiangsu FC. They repaid the favor by buying Adrian Sander, who we had sort of sitting around on the bench the whole time, this 18-year-old center back, who had some potential. And you can see him there with the ball is there in red. He had some potential, but he didn't start any games for us because we have better center backs, at least according to the assistant manager. Sander, I think, only played 1 game for us and was pretty upset about it, which is why I sold him. And it just so happens that Jiangsu FC are the team that came in for him and put in a bid. Only 649 people here at this match. Boy, if this were in Yanji, we'd have probably well over 20,000. It goes to show you some of the problems that we have here in the Chinese league, in the Chinese league system in general. And that's a pretty poor clearance from us. Paulson winds up with it there at the back in the end. Over to Yejian now and over to Wade. Wade finds Eng. Eng back to Wade, and he's got Delphi. They're moving forward. Now back to Zhang Jiangyi, who I'm not very happy with having to start, but we'll do it anyway. And over to Delphi. Back to Eng, and then to Hall. And Hall has not really a shot. There was more of a pass to the goaltender. Didn't really challenge anybody there at all. But that's a good way to start things off for him in his career with us. Ravaglia now with it, and is taken off of him, but Eng is back onto it. Ravaglia getting the start in place of Para, who, as you may remember, last game yesterday, was injured, and that was a very, very dangerous position there for Jiangsu FC. And I told you this is going to be a big one. This is turning into a big rivalry, and that was a massive, massive cross, and I've got to wonder where our defense is. You can talk about cohesion, but the truth is that our back four is largely made up of players who are already here at the club. So we shouldn't be falling apart quite like that, not that easily. Zhang Jiangyi with a free kick, and that goes behind for a goal kick. And we are seeing things become more and more intense as we move along. And let's see if we can get somebody to break the deadlock. Ravaglia now with the throw over to Wade and then back to Hall. Hall over to Yejia. Over to Hall again, and then back to Yejia, over to Wade, then to Hall. Ravaglia now, and he just takes a shot on goal. He's offside, though. I mean, it's amazing how quickly we've had to do this. The players haven't had time to say hello to one another yet, and we're already in this match, and they have to go on and play, and they have to try to get along and play with each other. You'll notice that Huang Bowen's not in the squad anymore. He's still in trouble for not training well and for being in a sour mood all the time. Which kind of drives me nuts. Now we need to get the ball off of them, and there's Diko Eng now showing us what he can do, and he just takes the ball forward, and he's got multiple men to pass to. Passes over to Wade, who takes a ill-advised shot from range, despite the fact that he had, I think, both of our forwards right in front of him waiting for the pass. So we need to do a little bit better here on getting on the same page. And Paulson now has it. Paulson over, and it goes back to Chen Wei. Back to Paulson now, and over to Wade, and down to Hall. Hall over to Jabara, over to Rafael. Rafael moves it up slowly, get across, and he does over to Jabara. in excellent position and has a shot that goes nowhere. But that's exactly what we want to see from him. Kamil Jabara. A lot of these new signings are young, by the way, about 18, 19, 20-year-old players. And that's the way that we're going to go, try to get good players and young players. And it is nothing at halftime. And when was the last time you saw one of our matches in which there was no score at halftime? We do need to get better shots. Jabara not having the best of times out there. And Zhang Jianyi, of course, who really should not be on this team anymore, is having a poor game. And we're going to put Dutra on for him. So Dutra is a player that we had on this squad before, but he was in the under-21s for a while. We have finally decided to move him up and to see what he can do here in the main squad. Hall now brings it down all by himself. Hall over to Rafael, over to Jabara, and he takes another shot from range, and that's ill-advised, and we're going to probably end up taking him off pretty soon. It's Chen Wei now with the ball for another goal kick over to Ravaglia, back to Hall, and Hall finally corrals it over to Dikoeng, over to Delphi, then to Ravaglia, and he's got Delphi right there, and there we go. That's the first goal for Yunus Delphi on this team. And this Iranian came in with absolutely wonderful recommendations from our scouts, and you can see why. I mean, just excellent vision and excellent pass here. He finds Ravaglia in plenty of space, and then it's just... I mean, there's no way no one's going to catch up with Delphi. None of these defenders for Jiangsu are quite good enough to do that. And boy, that really rubs one in the face of Adrian Sander. That's what you get, and for being upset. And is back to Jabara now, over to Dutra again. Dutra pulls it forward past his man, and there's like a million people to cross it to. And unfortunately, his cross is of poor quality, unable to get it quite through. And it goes to the goalkeeper, Wen Chenyu. And it is Ravaglia now with it, down to Delphi, back to Wade, over to Ang, and he's got Ravaglia. Ravaglia is in behind the defense, and there's number 2. And Pietro Ravaglia is really coming to his own as a player here over the last couple of matches. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but if you go back and watch some of these matches, you'll see that, I mean, he's just completely blossomed, and he's turned into a really good striker, and the assistant managers now are thinking that he's better than Luciano Parra, who has more goals. That's a good problem to have, of course, to have 2 players like that, but it's a good thing to have as well because Parra, of course, is injured, and is going to be injured for the next month. Adrian Sander now, and he lops one forward that isn't going anywhere, but we're unable to clear it. It goes back finally over to Chen Zhen for Jiangsu. And he lifts in a little cross that thankfully is not that dangerous. And there's a shot that Chen Wei is able to stop. And I'm telling you right now, if that was Ho Yu in goal, that would be in. We've had a lot of improvements here among our goalkeepers. Unfortunately, that wasn't a very improved pass, but we'll work on that. And it's Xiao Jinqing who's in there all alone with the shot and the goal for Jiangsu FC. And boy, I'm starting to get a little bit worried here. Maybe this isn't going to be as easy as we thought. And this was a good little give and go, and Yang Jian holds things up, which really fools the defense. And there's not too much that the goalie can do about that one, unfortunately. We'll get to 60 minutes, and then we'll take a look and see what we can do. We're still leading on XG, but we're not dominating the way that we've dominated matches in the past. And, hey, maybe we'll make an actual interesting series of this after all. Stop with the 9-0, 10-0 wins. Paulson now takes it in over to Yeje, down to Diko Eng. And it's over to Delphi, over to Jabara, and then here's Ravaglia again. And he's got that goal every single time. 10 times out of 10, he's going to score that one. That's the second of the game for Ravaglia. 3-1 now, Yanbian FC. And this is looking pretty good, I would say. And, I mean, it's just a beautiful pass here from Jabara, who is just able to use that vision to see exactly where Ravaglia can go. And our strikers are just faster. They're faster than the defense. They could do that all day long. And now we're here on just about 60 minutes. We're going to make a couple changes, see who else we can bring on. And I'm looking mostly at fitness levels. And yeah, Ravaglia is a little bit tired. We'll put on Chung Bingbin, who's another one of our new signings. So Chung Bingbin is probably the best striker, the best one that would come to our team, at least in China. So we'll put him on. And then we'll put Yi Jin-yong on as usual, as he should get at least some playing time. And finally, I do want to take a look. No, he's not. Is he on the other side? Yeah, we're going to take off Jakob Eng, and we're going to put on Jung In-gyum, who is our newest South Korean signing. I just want to have a quick look at him as well now that we're up by 2. And here's Dutra with a free kick, and that's in, and that's his first goal of the season. And man, maybe we should have been starting Dutra after all along. That was pretty nice looking from him. Is a great job of bending this one right over and past that wall. And there's nothing that the goalkeeper could have done to stop that one. 4-1 now, Yanbian FC, and this is a little bit more like it. This is more like what I was expecting. We take Rivaglia off despite the fact that he had 2 goals and was looking for a potential hat trick, so we'll see if there's any fallout from that or not. I'm sure the media will be interested. Delphi now takes it back and over to Paulsen, back to Yejin, over to Lee Jin-young. Lee Jin-young kicks it forward, and he's looking for Delphi. Can't quite find him. Raphael ends up with it, and he just lumps it forward to Delphi, and he is fouled. He is fouled by Wei Yafei for Jiangsu, and it's going to be Delphi taking the penalty. And this might be a sight that we come to see fairly often, and that is in. That is in, and it's 5-1 Yanbian FC. And those fans back in Yenji who are watching this match on television are pretty happy right now. And it looks like we're moving forward in the Chinese FA Cup, and we just might wind up upsetting everybody in the entire country. I think we have the best team in the country, personally. And Chen Wei is able to get to that one, and he, instead of grabbing it, he punches it, and that has me concerned. This is going to be perhaps the only match that Chen Wei ends up starting for us. We'll see what happens. Good Chinese goalkeepers are hard to come by, and that has me very concerned. You'll see Liu Xiaoziyang tomorrow in tomorrow's match. Quiet game from the new boys. We haven't seen much from Jung, or Jung rather, or from. And there's Dutra with a second goal from a free kick. Man, how did he learn how to do that? Look at how far away that was. It's almost halfway to the halfway line. And he's able to just bend this one in and over. I mean, it's a ridiculous job by the goalkeeper, but wow, man, that's amazing. 6-1 Yanbian FC. And I mean, I wasn't expecting that at all. There's Chung Bingbin, who's the other person I was going to say is a little bit quiet so far. Paulsen now, and he loops it forward to Jabara with a ridiculous pass. And of course, it goes to nothing. And Paulsen there to get ahead, and over to Lee Jin-young, over to Dutra again, over to Delphi looking for that hat trick, and he almost gets it. Wen Chunyu almost puts it into his own goal. And boy, we're looking pretty good now all of a sudden. It just took us a little while to figure out who was who, figure out who's on our team. Here's Zhang Sile now over to Xiao Jinqing, and Xiao Jinqing gets the second goal for Jiangsu FC. And this time I'm looking at Chen Wei and starting to wonder what exactly was going on there, and how did we wind up in this position that we wound up in? I mean, we're, again, kind of in no man's land. We could have done a better job, I think, in defense, but I also think we could have done a better job of goalkeeping there. That was a pretty poor performance. Yeji not having a very good, well, I suppose an okay game, but he's got to take the blame, I think, for that one. And we're looking at the final kick here for Jiangsu FC, and we're able to head that one out of any sort of danger. There was really no danger to speak of to begin with. Yanbian FC have come off victorious. 6-2 is the final score. I'm happy with this team so far. I like a lot of what I've seen, and we'll see if there are problems for me taking off Rivaglia when I did. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.